wake, and in a sense it is, and I think that foremost, I want to express the sadness that I feel, the reason that we're here. Can you hold up? Everybody should take a picture of that who has access to social media. The American worker, born 1776, murdered by Belt Lake crap weasels, H-1B, L-1, NAFTA, Obamacare, and you can add TPP and B-1 and B in lieu of H and F-1 and every alphabet visa under the sun. It's a travesty what's happening. And finally, after all the years that John has been laboring and all the work that has been put in by Donna Conroy and all the heroes that have come before you, this is a perfect storm now. It is an incredible opportunity to make the human toll of the collusion of big government and business known to America. And so I have to thank this woman right here, because she is an American patriot. It is about time that there is a fresh injection of energy and passion into what I believe is going to be a lasting movement. Take that anger and frustration and sense of hopelessness that so many of you have felt as you've feared for your jobs, as you've lost your job, as you've pondered what the hell your smart kids are going to do in the future, given this racket that's going on for way too long, and turn it into action. You are not alone. And to me, that's what was amazing about this man, that he's hung in there for so long, that he witnessed it on the ground floor himself. And he didn't just throw up his hands and give up. He decided to become a lawyer and fight for other American workers. And he's in the courts right now challenging not just the Democrats, not just the left, but the Republican crap weasels who are every citizen. Political affiliation, because as we discovered when John and I did an appearance on C-SPAN, it's not a Republican thing, it's not a Democrat thing, it transcends partisanship. This is an American thing. And you look at my skin, I'm brown, and there are many people in the Open Borders lobby who are so quick to jump on me and call me some sort of hypocrite, because my father came here 45 freaking years ago when H-1B didn't even exist, and all of the exploitation and loophole and legalized fraud. And yes, it is a moral crime, and it should be a crime to see what we're happening now with American workers forced to train their replacements. That's not anything that my dad was a part of or supported or supports now. And even if you have workers out there who came here from other countries and followed the rules, who are truly in some sort of specialized field, even if they benefited from those programs 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, does it make them beholden to when these programs are corrupted in perpetuity? Hell no, of course not. And that's the difference between people who are not just fed up with what's going on with these temporary foreign guest worker programs, the whole lot of them, but of course what's going on with illegal immigration as well. And that's what this man helped me do to open my eyes. Because we first met when I had come out with my book, Invasion, which was largely centered on illegal immigration and its impact on national security. But it's every bit a national security threat what these guest worker programs have done to American economic security. And I think that there's no accident. I believe in providence. I think that there's a reason that each and every one of you is in this room. Jennifer Waddell was somebody I happened to come across on YouTube. I couldn't believe that there was a woman out there way ahead of me and where I was on my thinking about these guest worker programs, who seized an opportunity. There was a good call to ask the president a question. Google and YouTube had put on this chat with Obama, and Jennifer took that chance to speak truth to power. And I urge every one of you to Google her name, Jennifer Waddell, W-E-D-E-L, who was there to be the voice for her husband. And that's what's so important, because we all know, Sarah and John and all of you out there who have had to experience it yourself, the gag order that is placed, the harassment and intimidation. Is Jay here? No, he couldn't. Jay Palmer is another person that we wrote about in the book who was a whistleblower when he saw these same practices at Infosys. And the bravery with which these men and women have carried themselves, despite literally death threats and accusations, of course, what does the left always do? Play the race card. Somehow, they called Jay Palmer a racist for calling attention to the racial and ethnic discrimination, particularly against older American workers, the very ones who are bearing the brunt and the impact of this H-1B racket. I told you that I believe that there is no such thing as coincidence. We are at Flanagan's Bar and Grill. And I want to read you from page 82 of my book to reinforce the message that you are not alone. Flanagan's Bar and Grill. In the spring of 2003, tech workers at Bank of America's Concord Technology Center in California felt like they were on, quote, death row. Bank of America was laying off workers left and right, sending jobs overseas, and contracting out work to offshore outsourcing companies Tata and Infosys. Kevin Flanagan, a 41-year-old software programmer, survived for months as the company slashed his friends and colleagues' positions. He prepared for the worst by researching law schools and applying for other positions. Like his coworkers, Flanagan was forced to train his replacement. Unable to cope with the stress and humiliation, he killed himself in his office parking lot on the day he got his official pay slip. His final blow was so devastating, he couldn't deal with it, his father said. IT workers in Concord and across the country mourned Flanagan as they called attention to their collective plight. It could be me, one anonymous Bank of America employee told the Contra Costa Times. It could be anybody. That was 13 years ago. Pardon my French.
I'm a construction. Lori Bonataki, another one who committed suicide in 2008. I talked to her 3 weeks before she committed suicide. PeopleSoft developer in Massachusetts. I have no idea. 3 weeks, and later she kills herself.
This is a memorial, not only for the Apple workers who lost their jobs and are on their last day today, but every one of the thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of workers out there who will never get their faces on cable TV or on the front pages of the New York Times. Thank God we have lawyers like John and Sarah. You know, everybody makes lawyer jokes, but there are American patriots who are fighting for American workers. We need voices in the courtroom. We need voices in the classroom. We need voices in the public sphere and on Capitol Hill. Sarah is now running. Paul Nealon is running. He's challenging Paul Ryan, who's been at the forefront of it. And yes.
Hi, my name is Ryan Dieter, and I'm a computer engineer from UC Davis, and I'm running for Congress. My platform is more jobs, less immigration. We got to do away with these H-1Bs, and we got to bring the jobs back to America.
What district? What district?
He's in California. There has to be strength in numbers. You are not alone. But for those of you who are able to step up to the plate, for those of you who have the wherewithal, for those of you who have the resources, do something. We can't afford to sit on the sidelines. Everyone who has come up here has talked about the personal impact of these policies and the daunting future of our kids and grandkids. Fortunately, my kids are not like me. They're more like their dad. They're mathematically minded. I always call myself the mathematically challenged Asian American in America, much to my father's chagrin. And at some point when they became old enough to appreciate our horror stories about going to a far left-wing liberal college, I know that's redundant, we used to tell them, you know, don't go into English like your mom, or government, or history. Get into a STEM field. And we can't tell them that anymore. And what we tell them is, don't do that. Don't listen to those people. By the way, you understand that there's a huge intersection between the big business cronies who push things like Common Core. They happen to be the same ones who are pushing for the huge H-1B expansion. What are they doing? Well, they know that they've been lying to us for a quarter century about there being a quote-unquote STEM shortage. And I tweeted the other day, I said, hey, Mark Zuckerberg, hey, Intel lobbyists, you're whining that you can't find engineers? Why don't you look under the bus that you drove over? You hear all these politicians in both parties, and they're so great about mouthing platitudes in favor of American jobs and always talking about the American dream. Nobody talked more about the American dream than Marco Rubio. Well, he was driving a truck over it. Hopefully there'll be more Ryan dump trucks to remove those people from power and put people in power who are in touch and who are shameless about putting American first. You know, we always hear about Black Lives Matter, American Lives Matter. Right. American workers. In the back of our book, we have a citizen resource toolkit. And there are links there for many activist groups, research groups, for a movement to really take hold and snowball and have lasting power. You need people on the ground. You need people who are willing to be in your face. You need intellectual ammunition. You need to tell compelling narratives and stories, and at the same time have both an evangelical mission and an educational mission. Whatever role you can play, do it. I still wake up every day, and I'm still at the point where I count my blessings that I live in this country. And coming here and being with you gives me more hope than anything. I don't look to the White House for my heroes.
Not there.
I don't look to Washington for my heroes. It's a very American trait to do things for yourself. And it's going to be up to each and every one of you to do the job that these sold-out American politicians won't do and refuse to do. What is their job? What does the preamble to the Constitution say? It doesn't say that their foremost duty is to guarantee $1 an hour jobs for every last Indian or Filipino or Chinese worker in the world. To provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare. Part of that common defense is making sure that American workers are put first, unapologetically. Sovereignty matters. The last thing I want to say to you is that if there's anything you can do is getting this message across about the absolute horror and injustice. We hear a lot about social justice on the other side, don't we? What about the social injustice of demanding that people you've given pink slips train the replacement who will suck up all that knowledge and go back to their home country? Dig your own grave. It's like living in a real-life horror movie. We talked about some of these practices, and the names, it sounds like 50 Shades of Grey we said. Body shopping, binding, dig your own grave. And what are these politicians doing? I mean, there they are. There's Orrin Hatch, and Marco Rubio,
Dick Durbin.
and only until recently, unfortunately, people like Ted Cruz, who was espousing a quintupling of H-1B until only very recently. Look, I'm glad to welcome any convert to the cause, but what are they thinking? What are they thinking? Dig your own grave. And then you have Donald Trump, who has done so much to elevate this issue and embolden people. And even he, we point out in the book, has made noises and said that he was quote-unquote softening in favor of essentially stapling green cards to F-1 visas. Fortunately, he has some of the most stalwart policy thinkers on his staff. And whatever you can do to make sure that those people have a voice in these campaigns and these administrations is also very important. Stephen Miller is a fantastic expert who works for one of the greatest patriots on Capitol Hill right now, Jeff Sessions.
Yes.
This is not a wake. This is an awakening. And for many who've been in the movement a long time, it is a reawakening. A sense that we can convert this into lasting change. At a lot of Irish wakes, there's a poem written by a woman named Mary Fry that's often quoted at the end of the wake. One of the last stanzas, I will leave with you. Do not stand at my grave and cry. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die. Let that be your slogan going forward. Thank you so much, each and every one of you.